Nikin sorry. Can you cover in your video about no-fault insurance and which of those insurances become useless when you are in such state? Thanks. Great question. No-fault insurance is an incredible program. No-fault is when you claim against your own insurer or insurance that you are either medically injured or you're claiming some sort of disability. So a lot of companies or a lot of people may have heard it from personal injury protection. If you're in Florida, watch the video here that goes into depth about Florida coverages and the personal injury protection. Currently, the no-fault is in 12 different states. If you are in one of those states, not all of them mandatory, so you don't necessarily have to carry the no-fault. If you're in a typical state like, let's say, Michigan or Florida, they require that you carry personal injury protection. But if you're in a state like New Jersey, I believe Hawaii doesn't require it either, but it's optional, or Texas. They offer something called personal injury protection. You have the choice to purchase that. The benefit to that, and I think the best one, although it's a little bit more costly, is Michigan. They have an unlimited amount of medical for life. So if you get injured in an accident and it's not your fault, then your medical's covered. You do not have to worry about that portion. Just be careful if you're one of those persons that has your own medical or thought you had your own medical and you coordinate the medical benefits, so you combine the two. What they're going to do is they're going to focus on your medical first through your work or through whoever you're getting it from, and then they're going to focus on the insurance company second. So be very careful with that, because if they don't cover it, that could eliminate this portion, and you might end up having to come completely out of pocket with the whole thing. Okay? So, for example, we have Joe here and Bill. Joe hits Bill, runs into his car. Bill is injured. Bill doesn't have medical on his, but he has the personal injury protection, which technically is a medical coverage. Okay, let's just say he's in Florida. He's got personal injury protection, which pays 80% of his medical, up to $10,000. It also pays part of his work loss, so if he can't work or he's disabled, it's going to pay some of his payments towards 80% of his income towards that $10,000 limit. Once he exhausts the $10,000 limit, then in that case, Joe here has to come up with the rest of the money. That's where you run into problems. Yes, I understand a lot of people don't like that part of insurance because why do I have to have it? Why do I need this? Why do I have to cover this? If Bill hits me, it's his fault. He should take care of it. What if Bill leaves? What if Bill doesn't have any money? He goes bankrupt, right? There might be a way you can get a little bit, but it's kind of like those situations where, you know, he's gone or he files bankruptcy or he doesn't make an income. He works under the table, right? He's willing to live his life that way. It's crazy how that happens. If you don't have enough coverage, then you're stuck. If you don't have the medical to pay for it, you're stuck. Some states like Michigan, what they do is they force you to have that medical, the personal injury protection. And yes, it is a huge reason Michigan is a lot more expensive if you're in Michigan. It usually costs an average about $300 a year additional just to have that coverage. It's not optional. But it's a lifetime program. So if you get injured and you lost your arm, right? We had to take it off. We couldn't save it. That's covered. That medical's covered for life. Would you pay an extra $300 a year? Let's just say 10 years, right? $3,000 to cover that $1 million surgery that you're going to have, all this medical and the rehabilitation and all that stuff? Absolutely. That's one of the reasons certain states like Michigan force it to be carried. Now, they're a little bit different. I'm going to go away from Michigan because that's a completely different video. They have unlimited medical, and then you can coordinate that, which if you want to learn more, I've got more videos on that. There's other states like Texas. They have a limit. Most states limit how much you can carry. So in Texas, you have two choices. You can either choose to buy medical, so $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 worth of medical, and that's actually a really big benefit. If multiple people get hurt in your car, it pays $5,000 if you chose $5,000 per person in your car. Okay, if you fit 4 people in there, it's going to cover $20,000, $5,000 for each, assuming they all maxed it out. Versus the personal injury protection, which is only going to cover certain limits like $2,500 or $5,000. So if you want a little bit for less money, you can go with the $2,500 package. Now with Texas, it's a little bit different because it's not just injuries. It's also work loss and things like that, death benefits. You can add different programs to that. Same thing for Florida. If you're in one of these 12 states, I'll put a link in the description below to show you all the states that are in it. Make sure to check it out. If you're in one of those, find out. If you think you have your own medical insurance, be very careful. You may not be covered. You're going to want to call your medical and make sure, say, hey, if I'm in a car accident, is my insurance going to cover it through you guys? And if so, then yes, some states will let you coordinate it. So like in Michigan or New Jersey or New York, if you have your own medical insurance, you can do what's called coordinated medical benefits. That way your medical comes first, the auto insurance comes second, and you're going to pay a lot less money because you're not having to come up with the medical. They don't have to worry about that. That's why a lot of people, they'll call around in different states like New York. They're always denied insurance because they have filed a personal injury protection claim. So those that have filed it once before are typically tending to file it again. They're not afraid of it once they've done it once. So a lot of companies have restrictions where if you filed a medical claim, which is crazy, I get it. I don't understand that part myself. Why would they, it's not your fault. You didn't cause the accident. You got hurt. Your medical was covered, and now you don't want to insure me because you think I'm a higher risk? Well, in reality, yes, because you are a higher risk. You've filed the claim before, and that's not going to stop you from filing it again. But that's the point of insurance, right? It's there to file. The problem is if you file that and they claim it, and then you file it again and they claim it again, they're not making money. You got to keep in mind, this is not designed, although the state, New York, Michigan, Florida, wherever you live, is designed to protect you, okay? Because the insurance is a company. They're not, although you are their focus, right? They want to appease you, they want to please you, but they also want to make money, right? They're a business. The state kind of regulates what they can say and can't say. Otherwise, they'd say, well, no medical. No one gets medical ever, because that's a big cost. That's the great thing about the state regulations, is they're going to control what the insurance companies do. That's why there's so many changes so often, is because the insurance companies do find different ways to not necessarily charge you, but to fit into their model. If they went out crazy and started charging you through the moon, then yeah, they're not going to get customers. So they're going to go bankrupt anyways. There's a medium that they have to meet in. They have to appease you, appease the state, and fit their guidelines where they'll make a little bit of money. That's why these insurance companies, you think they're making $100 off of you, every day. It's pennies. They're making 5 cents every few months, every year. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a video there. In this same situation, assuming that someone hit another person, Joe hit Bill, and Joe had the minimum coverage in his state, well, let's just use Florida for example. It had $10,000 per person, $20,000 per accident. So if $10,000 per person in Bill's car, up to $20,000 total. Not a lot of coverage. He hits him, and it's $20,000 for medical for one person in the car. It cuts off at $10,000. He's short $10,000. In this event, the personal injury protection would typically kick in and pay 80% of the medical, because it's Florida, that's their guidelines. 80% of his medical up to $10,000. Technically, he's only getting $8,000 covered, so there's still a $2,000 gap, which Joe is responsible for. But if Joe goes off and does whatever he wants and says forget it, then Bill has to go after him. In these situations, that's where uninsured motorist kicks in and underinsured motorist, and then that'll protect you in that situation. That's no-fault insurance. It's pretty simple. If you guys have other questions and you want to get a response, let me know. Just put them in the comments below. Don't forget, guys, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, if it was helpful. Don't forget to share with anybody that is in one of these 12 states, or if you're visiting one of these 12 states. Let us know in the comments below. Have you ever filed a personal injury protection claim? If so, what was your experience and what did you find? For more information, don't forget to subscribe. Mark Flockhart. See you in the next one.